Hi, my name is Cindy Rang.
I'm Brianna Matskis, and today's FabriChat.
Good morning. Hello. You know, it's so funny because I always look forward to this. I think all week long, I have to tell them that. Oh, I have to tell them that. Oh, they commented on this. And because it's kind of fun, because if you're new here, I can't imagine anybody is, but if you're new here, we're a mother-daughter duo. We have a quilt shop in Central Washington State. We've been here for 27 years, and we do a lot of YouTube stuff. We do tutorials and classes, and we do the box openings that are pretty popular. But FabriChat, to me, is different.
Right.
FabriChat is every Wednesday morning at 8:30, and I really feel...
Catch up on life.
Yeah, catching up with our friends. Yeah. I feel like the people that hang out with us for FabriChat are our friends, the ones that have been hanging out with us for years, the ones that have come up and retreated with us, the ones that have saved me in your phone when I've called you to find out if I could send you a substitute blue or whatever. And those are the people that text me all week long, you know, and whatever it is we talk about, they'll send their version of the recipe or a picture or whatever. So I think FabriChat is fun because somebody said, it's been a little while, they used to say it more often, but they would say, what does this have to do with quilting? I thought this was a quilting show. It's like, no, FabriChat has nothing to do with quilting.
No, not at all.
We are quilters, and that may be how you found us, but we ain't talking about that. I mean, we might.
We may or may not tell you what quilts find us.
We don't know.
Depends on where it goes.
We don't know. We're just having coffee with friends. And it's never scripted. We might know that there's one topic we're going to talk about, but we barely even have notes. And so it's really just, you know, a half hour, 45 minutes of just having coffee with friends and just kind of chatting and catching up, which I think is super fun. So I do think about you guys all week long. And sometimes because the one thing that I want to bring up today, I haven't even talked to you about because I feel like I have one job. And it is to make her laugh. You know, everybody loves her laugh. We want it as a ringtone. We want to listen to it all the time. And so that's why really we don't have any kind of notes because it really is just very impromptu.
I don't know if it would matter anyways. There's so many squirrel moments in our life that it's and detour.
And now what are we talking about? Wait, what were we talking about?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. So, I have been wanting to talk about this for a week now. That's how long we get on these we call them our little rabbit hole conversations where we talk about something that's really weird and, you know, and then pretty soon everybody else is looking at it too. The three-eye atlas. And finally, Lori texted me and says, okay, I think you've got me. I'm going to look that up. And it is kind of interesting because if you have been down the three-eye atlas rabbit hole, you will know now that, because, you know, it's supposed to be, if you don't know, it's supposed to be a meteor or asteroid that is going to come with hurling, not really towards Earth. It's going to miss us, but it's coming near
close,
us.
Apparently.
And the new conspiracy, the conspiracy theory that's been around for a very, very long time is that it's not really a meteor or an asteroid. It is a spaceship.
Other likely. Cool.
And so people are finding
it might not go well for us.
Heat source and it has all these things. We don't know. But it's funny then to look to see what NASA is saying and other people who really are, you know, scientists and what they're saying. And so it is kind of fun. Anyway, it has changed course. So
interesting.
I know. It's not going to hit us. Still not going to plummet into Earth, but it has deviated.
It's because they've been listening to our
And now what?
Yeah.
Did you say that there were snacks? You guys would be easy to conquer? I don't know. I still, you know, I just think it's fun. I think it's fun just the things that, you know, and I don't know if it's my age or what it is, the things that are entertaining to me anymore, you know.
Well, I feel like this is like reality TV without being gross.
Right.
It's just
kind of fun.
It's kind of fun. And what is everybody thinking? But that doesn't make sense. Hey, ice melting. I don't know if that makes sense either. But, you know,
I know. It is
reality
kind of
TV
fun.
without, all the gross things that are in reality TV.
That's exactly right. And all of the scripted stuff.
Yeah,
In reality
it's a-
TV. Yeah, you get to just do your own little research and have your own little opinion. I never ever comment on anybody's videos or anybody else's any little posts or whatever. It's like, I am just a lurker.
Yeah.
I just want to see what you think and see what you think, and I have my own thoughts. But but anyway, so I think it's kind of fun. So anyway, Three Eye Atlas or whatever else, but now there's a new one. Okay, not so new, because now all kinds of things have happened. But let me tell you first how it started for us. The way that it started for us is that Thanksgiving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we do for Thanksgiving is we host breakfast. Everybody comes over for breakfast. Everybody's out of the house by about 11:30. They go off, do their own thing. And Pa and I have this great, relaxing pajama day eating leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
And, but what we make for breakfast is we make ham, cheesy potatoes, eggs, all of the other stuff that goes with it. And then usually then for dinner, we like to make like a turkey breast or something. Well, this year I decided I wanted to make turkey legs. Turkey legs is something that you can get now.
Yeah.
I had seen them in the store and it's like, well, how do you do that? Do you do it the same way? Do you lift up the skin, put the butter under there? Do you do that whole thing? So I Googled a little video because, of course, you don't have to know anything. You don't have to know a single thing. You can just go, Siri.
You can be a handyman without knowing how to be handy.
I can put up drywall.
There's YouTube for that.
You have to assume that they might know what they're talking about, but you don't have to. I mean, just to know. So anyway, so I looked up turkey legs. Okay. The very first video that came up was of this woman, and she never did show her face. She wasn't like some big influencer. She wasn't anything. But she was just showing, and she had black hands. I mean, she was, just a...
Gloved hands?
No. She was a black woman.
Got it.
Black woman. And clearly somebody that, just in listening to her, she knows how to cook, right? You know what I mean by that, right? She just was making this. She had all of her stuff out. And so she was just wanted to show that she bought these turkey legs and wanted to know, what do you think about these turkey legs? Because they don't look right to me. So that's what her whole video was.
Oh.
And let me fast forward for just a minute before I go back. This video was taken down. You cannot find... I searched for hours to look for this video. Could not find it. It is nowhere out there. But I'm just going to say, I watched the whole thing. And then I looked for a very short time after to try to show Pa, and I couldn't find it. And then looked again and looked again and looked again. Looked again even this morning. No such video. Anyway... what she had is, so she had this turkey leg and she says, I just got these turkey legs and I got that. And she showed her receipt. She showed the package and it was something Hills, something Farms, I don't know, whatever. It was like a normal, regular package. One was still on the tray, on the little, plastic tray thing that it comes in. And she says, I just got these turkey legs and I was getting ready to prepare them and something's really wrong with these. They do not look right to me. So she was peeling back the skin because she was going to tuck something underneath the skin. And if you look at the skin looked, and she was holding it and putting her finger on it to show that you can't even it looked like plastic. And then she showed up close to, how skin, you can see like little hair holes or feather. Yeah. None of that. It was smooth as can be. And it just looked like this plastic. And she was kind of trying to show, and she was trying to tear it. She couldn't tear it. So then she pulled it down. And as she pulled it down, the skin, the turkey was kind of lifting, and then there was like a secondary skin on it that was like this netting-y kind of thing. Then she pulled down into the meat a little bit more, and you know what we've all seen, a turkey leg and a chicken leg and all of the sinew tissue and the veins and stuff in there. It wasn't down there. Wasn't anything in there. So then she goes, I just don't, and then she's like squeezing the meat, and the meat was weird, like it needed that stuff to kind of hold it together. So she put that down and she pulled out the other one. It was still partially covered by this plastic wrap where she had opened it, and she pulled out the other one and showed the exact same thing.
Weird.
You could not have recreated this. So then she says, I just don't know. Is there something? Are they like 3D printing? Are they what? How did they make this? If they are making it, shouldn't it say something? So then she's showing the label. Shouldn't it say something on the label? And I thought, so then I watched the whole thing. I watched it a couple times, and then I thought, well, that's kind of weird. And so then later when Pa came in, I said, hey, look at this video. This is, so weird. Well, I couldn't find it. So I Googled or whatever. So I started Googling or whatever it is that you do when you're searching for fake meat. Fake meat. Well, then that opened this whole rabbit hole of that that the new conspiracy theory is that McDonald's is serving, and I know I'm not supposed to say that, but watch to the end and you'll see it's okay for me to say McDonald's because they have a statement. But that McDonald's is serving fake meat to everybody, that they are mixing all of this weird stuff in there. Because here's what the numbers are.
We kind of already knew that.
Well, we kind of
Your chicken nuggets are...
Well, the chicken nuggets are not chicken, and I have the insider information on that. But here's the numbers for beef. So we're going to talk about beef for a second, because you're right. Chicken nuggets, right? They know. Everybody knows that the chicken nuggets is
like
just
hot dogs.
It's like hot dogs.
If it's not all beef hot
bits
dogs.
of chicken and all of the bits of whatever is left, the skin, the tendons, the whatever, they mush it all together and they add that cerulean. I can't think of what the name of that stuff is. That pink meat glue.
Yeah.
To it, and then they form it into a nugget, and that's what chicken nuggets are. Don't eat any of that stuff. I mean, ugh.
Make your own.
Yeah. But I don't think anybody ever thought that beef was made that way. Did you think so? Well,
For what? Like a hamburger?
A hamburger. Do you think that... Well, I don't know. So let me just tell you. This is what the conspiracy theory is. This is the theory. So McDonald's, online, they say that they serve 6.5 million burgers worldwide per day. Per day. Right? Seems believable. In the U.S. alone, 5.8 million.
That's a lot of cows. That's a lot of
So
cows.
here's where the conspiracy theory comes in. Okay, so 5.8 million, and this is just rough math. If you divide that, assuming that each one is a quarter-pound burger, right, that is 23 million pounds. No, 23 million. Wait a minute. 5.8 million hamburgers at a quarter of a pound is 23 million pounds of hamburger. Right? Because it's a quarter of a pound each. So 5.8 times 4, 23 million pounds of hamburger. If you assume that per cow, you're going to get maybe 600 pounds of usable meat.
Yeah, because you got to take the hoof and the skin off. And
you're going to get usable 37,000 cows per day.
That's crazy.
I don't have the math. What's 37,000? So that's almost a million. That's over 900,000. Almost a million cattle per month.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, I don't know. I'm no cattle farmer, but...
No cattle farmer. And that's what I thought too. I thought, wow, that's a lot of cows. Well, because that's what you think, right? It's like, well, a million. So we're slaughtering a million cattle per month just for McDonald's. Just for McDonald's. So if you are somebody who is also selling the meat to Wendy's and Burger King and whoever else, it's almost, the numbers seem
It almost makes sense as how do you stretch that meat?
Right. So this is where the conspiracy begins. So if you look at this and you go down this whole rabbit hole of people, saying absolutely not possible. There's got to be something else in there. There's got to be something else in there. So this is where we went then. So then for the past week then, Pa and I on our little phones, on our rabbit holing, and stick with me. I do have an answer. So two things that we looked at. So the first thing that we looked at was this bioengineered meat, right? So GMOs have been around for a long time, right? Genetically modified foods. We've had that for a little while, and, some people are pro, con, whatever. And a lot of what they've done is they've just modified it so that it will have less mold or less whatever. I mean, grains have been modified.
Right, I was going to say, look at just how our flour is.
Flour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that stuff. And so there's that. Well, bioengineering is different, where they actually take, and they're talking about, there's lots of search for that. be prepared, because they take like the cells of the animal, put it in like this laboratory conditions to grow. I mean, it's like very sci-fi, where they can grow other cells with other products to turn it into this beef-ish stuff or whatever, right?
Weird.
So they're so weird. So they're totally working on it, but they've not perfected it yet. And it's what they have made. It's very, very expensive. And there's all of this other controversy about, well, but that is not going to save the environment, because the amount of energy and power that it takes to do that, why not just raise a cow? Or, do whatever. So this whole bioengineering that everybody thinks is what they're doing, is that they're bioengineering fake meat, is really not happening. We don't have the technology for it to that degree, and it's very, very, very expensive. So the other thing that happened last week at basically the same time was the Campbell's thing. Did you see all of that?
Oh, yeah.
So the Campbell's thing, of course, what started it was that somebody who's actually suing the company recorded the vice president saying that basically they make crap for poor people and that nobody eats it. Well, Campbell's came out on their page. They have this very long, hey, look, not true. We don't bioengineer anything. It's all good products, blah, 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 blah. So you go down that, and it does say something about bioengineering on their label, and they explained why that said that, and it's not the meat. And anyway, they went into that. But their whole point is the same thing. You're paying 88 cents for a can of cream of mushroom soup. If it was bioengineered, you'd pay $88 for that. So, they're not doing that. It is true that there's a lot of preservatives in there. It's probably not healthy for you. And
it's the only way it's going to last 8 years, though.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. As long as the can's not dented, you're good to go. And my thing with that is that I think for all of this stuff, we know where our food comes from. If you don't, you should know where your food comes from. And if you don't like those ideas, it's easy enough. Making your own creamed soup is so easy. So easy and inexpensive. I mean, It's dried milk, cornstarch, a few spices. It lasts for a long time. Add some water, and then add your dehydrated or fresh mushrooms or chicken to it. And you can do the same thing. You don't have to buy the can if you're nervous about what's in that. But anyway, so that happened also, and that created even more of this, oh my gosh, they're bioengineering all of our food. Right. How can they ever feed us? So I thought, okay, so it's clearly not bioengineered. So then my other question is then, so that's not the answer. Where does the meat come from? How is it possible that it's that many burgers? Because it's not just, that's just McDonald's. It's, what about all of the other burgers?
Yeah, right.
Which
I get, yeah.
Yeah, so where do they come from? And before you figure out where do they come from, the truth is it is different. I can't remember the last time I ate a McDonald's burger, but I have had a fast food burger. It is not good. Right? I mean, we all agree with that.
Not from our fresh cow in our freezer. Yeah.
It's not the same thing, because some people will ask, people come in all the time actually and say, well, where should we go for lunch or whatever? And I'll oftentimes ask them, well, what is it that you're hungry for? And if they're hungry for a burger, I always say the exact same thing. Well, if you go down to, DK's, or we have a couple of places in town, I'll always say the same thing. I'll always say it's actually a hand-formed burger, because that matters, right? It is real hamburger that you formed into a patty. You fried it, with some seasonings, and it tastes like a hamburger. It's not that weird fast food thing that we get. So it is true that it tastes different. So then what you want to know is, well, then where is that beef coming from, and why does it taste different? Not good. Maybe not bioengineered, but what's in it? And is it like the scrapings of the beef, like a hot dog and like a chicken nugget? Okay, so it looks like the supplier of meat for McDonald's is a company called Lopez. It used to be Anderson Farms. That's the name that we know.
Right.
Anderson Farms. They used to buy up all of our meat and all of our hay here. Anderson Farms went to Lopez, and now it's called something else, Lopez and something else. And so they're the ones that have provided all of the meat for McDonald's and other companies since 1968.
Wow.
So they've been doing this for a long time. But then there's no pictures. So then I thought, well, show me a picture. How many plants are there? And they said that there's 5 plants. Only 5. That's a lot of meat. It does not seem like enough. So then they said, so I was, going down this rabbit hole of where do they get their meat? And they said, well, they get their meat from all over the U.S., lots of different growers, as well as occasionally New Zealand and Australia. I know, and I thought, well, how much does it cost to ship a cow?
Right.
Or ship a half a cow, or however many cows you're shipping. That doesn't make any sense to me, because then I think if I go down and I buy hamburger in the store right now, I'm going to pay $8 a pound.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, at $8 a pound for real beef. So if you're shipping it over from Australia...
That's an expensive cow.
Why?
Why you just leave it there for
Why?
the Australian McDonald's?
It doesn't make any sense to me. So then I thought, well, there must be pictures or whatever. No pictures. No pictures of anything and I kept searching and searching and trying to find different ways to find pictures. And then what keeps popping up is this whole thing that it is a federal law that there cannot be pictures of our growers, our harvesters, our food source anywhere on the internet. And that if somebody does take a picture of the slaughterhouses or the chicken farms or the whatever, it is immediately taken down and that person is fined.
I had no idea.
It is a federal law. So then I thought, well, that doesn't make any sense. So then I go through this rabbit hole of why can we not have a picture of it? Why not
go
just
in there?
I know. Insider information. So then I started searching, well, there must be somebody who's done a story on our food source. And all of them are very
generic, yeah.
Vague. Nothing, there might be a story about, if there was a contamination or something, but very, very vague. Not really any pictures, not really anything. So I thought, well, this doesn't make any sense either. So what do? I know.
Yeah. Fun friend.
I phoned a friend. So we have friends that are big time cattle ranchers in Northern California. Some of you guys know her also. So I texted her. I started with a text. I have some questions. And so I asked what my questions are. And she's like, what?
What are you talking about?
She says, well, let me talk to Gary. And so, and then of course it's like, we need to talk on the phone. There's, what are you doing?
I need more information.
And it's way too much to answer in a text. So it was really, really interesting. A whole nother side of things that we're just not aware of. It's funny that we talked so much about hunting and that whole thing and where our food comes from. And I feel like I know where my food comes from and I'm pretty clear about that.
But we are also a small community. We are a small farming community. We buy local cows. We buy local hay. It's not like we're in a big city that go to Whole Foods. We don't even have a Whole Foods.
Yeah.
We barely have a Trader Joe's.
So, well, we don't. It's 2 hours away.
we have to travel for that. So we don't have one of those.
Yeah.
So all of those places, because like Robert and I, we buy a half a cow every year. We split a cow with either Jordan and Brittany or Dennis and Polina. Sometimes Mom and Dad, if they're ready for a cow. And that's what we eat off of. We aren't buying.
And little side note about that, because I think that is important, because some people do eat that way and some people don't. And I think it does depend on where you live. But here, we can go out to a local fruit stand all the time. And we can get all of our local stuff, not any problem at all. Same thing, we have something called gleaning, right? So after they've gone through and they have done all of the potatoes or all of the onions out of the field, they'll let you go in and collect whatever was too small for the digger to be able to get. Yeah, so we can do all of that. We can get fresh food pretty easily. And same thing, we can buy a half a cow, a half a pig. Almost everybody in the family does chickens. Whether it's raising for eggs or meat chickens. So we know where our food comes. We have access to fresh and we know how it was obtained. And so it does work out pretty good for us. But I think that not everybody has those resources, so it's kind of different. And you have to, I think that's why there are so many questions about where is our food coming from. And, I didn't have any questions about fast food because I just don't eat fast food. I just, we don't go out to eat. And when we do go out to eat, it's not going to be, other than the Subway debacle, it's just not going to be at that kind of a place. So, and we learned our lesson. So it was super, super interesting. Things that you've just never, ever thought about. So she answered all of my questions. And it's kind of fun because we were talking for a little bit and then all of a sudden, like, the dog started barking. I said, man, that is like a really loud bark, the size of her dogs. And she says, well, Gary just walked in. It's like, oh no, is a husband going to be listening to our
Oh no.
Oh no. He's going to wonder, why does she want to know this stuff? Well, just because I do.
It's good to have
I just
information.
want to know. And you know, this is why. So if some of you guys are wondering this whole thing, this is why I want to know. I believe that all of us women suffer from the same thing, which is a mind that is in overdrive all the time, right? I think it is a estrogen hormonal related thing that our minds do not shut off. So we have to lay there in bed at night, not able to sleep, ruminating about something.
And we're going to answer the question so you don't have to tonight.
Right. And if we're not worrying about where our meat comes from, we're worrying about what our husbands or our children, our adult children are doing. So it's best that we find something to occupy our brains. Keeps you out of trouble. So it's okay.
Went from one eye atlas, whatever, to cows. Cows.
Follow along.
Space to methane.
I haven't thought about...
To be honest, fly on a wall.
I know. And that's why I describe my brain as fireworks.
Yeah,
all the time. Don't you think it's like fireworks going off all the time? It's never ever just this, you know, waves lapping on a shore. That would not be my brain at all. It's always
there's a whole lot of ADHD undiagnosed in this room.
Undiagnosed, untreated.
It just is what it is.
It is what it is. You gotta be fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have our own little twin language. So I have no idea. We had a full conversation, answered all the questions, and they're like, what? What are you guys even talking about? It don't matter.
They don't matter.
We're not backing up.
Yeah. And every once in a while, I'll try that with Pa. And it's like, what? Oh.
Never mind.
I don't have time to talk to you.
So many words. Yeah. We know what a thingamajig is. There's like 12 things it could be, but
and
we know
with
exactly.
Brianna, I can just go. And she go, yeah. You know, we can have a point and an eyebrow, and she knows.
I know exactly what I'm saying.
That's right. Ugh. Anyway.
All right, all the answers.
Okay, so all the answers. So as far as not being able to find pictures, that is a real thing. It's absolutely a real thing. So she said that, so they have like 5 different locations, ranches. And she said there's always PETA people out there. There's always...
I've heard that. She has said that before, that it's awful.
Protesters, you know, the inhumane treatment of, it's like, well, but you know, it's what it is. We are raising these cows to harvest. Yeah. There is people eat beef and it's what they do. And so, but she has protesters all the time out there. And so they don't share. I mean, that's why everything is kind of on lockdown. Anybody who is a plant that does that, absolutely not. And not only that
makes sense. It's safety.
Safety.
I get that.
Yep. Safety. And also just that idea of knowing that's why it's all locked up. And also, there was all of the worries with terrorism, right? You know, I mean, we working at the dam we have our own little, there's policies now because of that with terrorists, and after 9/11, you know, what are other ways that we can be attacked? Well, in that industry, it's what if they attack our food source?
Oh, sure.
Right? So that's why it's considered federal safety. There will not be pictures of the inside or of the factories or any of the inner workings because they don't want to make it easy for anybody.
Don't give anybody inside information. Okay, that makes sense.
Inside information to be able to contaminate our food. And it's the same thing, even, you know, the crop dusters.
Yep.
You know, everybody's worrying about this. Well, what were they thinking and what are they doing and what are they contaminating our food?
It's extremely licensed.
Yeah.
Like
super monitored.
Super tight.
And so she said because of that, so here's the other thing to think about. So because of all of that and because of those concerns, the other thing is that every single 100% of the cows that go for slaughter are tagged.
I knew that.
They have a tag, and they track it. They know this cow was raised here, traveled here, slaughtered here. This meat went here. It is all
Right, and I know that's how the recalls work, whether it's
right.
cabbage,
That's how they know that if you
about
bought your
can
meat
of
in
tuna.
Wisconsin at this store, take it back. You know, that's right. That's how they know it, is they're able to track it so that if something does happen, so because of that, you know, it's, you know, they're following all of that stuff. So that makes sense. So they know that it really is, it's real meat that's in there. And so then my third question then to her was, okay, well, does this math right? I mean, do you feel like that's how many cows? And she says, yeah.
Really? There's that many cows?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. She said, absolutely, there's that many. And I said, you know, I just can't imagine
They're so
driving
big.
by a feedlot that has, she said, well, it's not just them. You know, they're a grower. There's other growers down the road. There's other growers. And she said at one of their ranches, they send out a truckload or whatever every third day.
Okay, well, that makes sense because the livestock down on Road 9, they transport trucks. There's 2 trucks every day coming and going out of there. And it's for slaughter cows. Yeah. It's the stinkiest 2 miles stretch of road.
It is a stinky
But
2 miles stretch of road.
they're really nice looking cows.
Yeah, so she said, yeah, absolutely.
I guess I didn't think there was that many
there are that many growers. Absolutely. Because the other thing, too, I said, well, how long does it take to grow a cow? So I asked her this
that's a good question.
Right? 16 to 18 months.
Right? I mean, it's a long time. Because we order our cow 2 years in advance. Mm-hmm. You have to be on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Because
16 to 18 months, that gets it to... this is what you need to know, the insider information here. You get that cow up to 1,450 to 1,500 pounds. That is the magic number. If it's over 1,500 pounds, you're just wasting your money feeding it. It's not gonna, don't keep feeding it. Don't,
Doesn't make
I
you more
want
money.
1,700 pounds. No, it's not gonna happen. That's the magic number, that it is at that right weight, and that's the right time. And it takes 16 to 18 months. And she said that for her, and I feel like this is the same prices around here, that if they were to sell it to a private buyer or somebody who's going to buy that meat for their restaurant or whatever, they sell it for $3 per pound.
That's about
hanging
right.
weight. That's about what it is here.
And it's about
and then you pay
$1 for butchering and packaging. Maybe $1.50 per pound. Isn't that roughly how it is?
Oh, no, I think it's almost the same, because I think it figures out to approximately $7 a pound. So it's
got
almost
a really
the
good
same.
deal on our cow, guys.
Oh, did you get a?
I got
But
one of
that's the
those
thing. You have to
deals.
find the grower, and then
And
you have
find
to
the
find
butcher.
the butcher, and then
It's
that
still
butcher,
cheaper than going to the grocery store and buying
100% cheaper.
ground
Well,
beef.
not 100% cheaper, but maybe 100%, because what you're going to end up paying, and that butcher will give you the sheet where you write down, I want 2 steaks per package, and I want this much cut up into. I don't want any ribs, but I do want soup bones, and I don't want this, and I want this much to be in hamburger, and this much to be in
I want all the
roasts,
fat.
you know,
All that.
whatever. Yeah, how much trimming do you want? So they'll do it the way that you want, and once you find a butcher that you like, you keep him, because that's
Stay on the
really, really
list.
important. And then it ends up being somewhere around $7 to $7.50 by the time you've paid everybody. You've paid for the beef, and you've paid for the cutting and wrapping. It figures out to approximately $7 to $7.50 a pound.
Which you might think is still, well, that's what you get ground beef for in the store, but not your New York steak meat.
You're getting your New York steaks, your roast, your ribs, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Your brisket.
Your brisket. Yeah, and you're paying $7 a pound for all of that.
Yeah.
So it
It's a
is
good
worth
wash.
it if you are concerned, and if you live in an area where it's possible to order. And you know, and I don't know of anybody who ever gets a whole beef, but usually that's a lot of meat. So you end up getting a half a beef or a quarter of a beef. And if you know a grower or a butcher, sometimes you can get on a list and say, "I'll take a quarter." If you find 3 other people who want that quarter,
Or find you and
family members,
3 other families and do it all together.
yeah. Yeah, but so anyway, so what she had, so that's another little side note
There's
there.
that many cows.
There's that many cows.
Apparently
She
they
said
get out
100%
of Grant
there's that
County
many
a
cows.
little more often.
Well, that was the other thing that I said to her is I said,
We need to go to Montana.
I know. So I said to her, I said, you know what's really weird about that is that I would say in my lifetime, how old am I? 61 and a half years, the number of semis that I have seen full of cows.
I see more empty ones than full ones. I mean, I guess they had to go somewhere.
But you don't know even what they had in there.
Right, that's true.
But a semi full of cows, I'm going to say I've maybe seen a dozen.
Oh, see, really? Well, I know. I guess it's where I live. I see them often.
I just don't think I've seen that many. Now, I can't think of the
It's
closest
they-
cattle grower other than the one out there.
Yeah,
but other
Northwest
than
Beef.
that, they're out by Ellensburg. So maybe it's
all
because of
freeway.
where I live. All freeway.
It's probably all
So it's
freeway.
probably where I live, and I just never notice, you know, but it's one of those things that I think, you know, maybe somebody sees it all the time. Because then I asked her, I said, well, how many do you see? She goes, well, you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, they're in and out. I ticker tape them as they, you know.
Yeah, so it's probably different. And so,
Well, we
you know,
need to have a summer vacation. Let's go and see it all. My kids might have to be older because they have to do.
I love
insemination,
because
but-
they do so many other things too. I want to go. They do because they're actually dairy farms.
Yeah.
You know, and they do all kinds of stuff, and they raise almonds.
I would
and
love
they
to
have
see
all-
it, and I think
know.
that's something that Robert would get a really kick out. My kids would too. They just have to be older to understand, you know, and to
And those of you that
appreciate.
are watching that are vegan, I apologize. You've probably
Sorry.
you're long gone by now. So, but I just think it's one of those things, you know, I think knowing where your food comes from and understands all of that. And I have to say it freaked me out just a little bit to think, wait, what are they putting in your food? And you know why, little side note here, little squirrel note here, is because I've been talking for years about bread, right?
Yeah.
So why does bread not mold anymore? And I don't know, that's a whole nother rabbit hole probably, but it doesn't. So we've gone up to the cabin, we've accidentally left a loaf of bread in the drawer.
She was fine.
Fine, come back 6 months later. It is soft. I mean, we didn't eat it, but we were just going, look at this bread. Look at this bread. No mold. Not even stale. You could have made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich right then.
Yeah.
We did not eat it because
not
we thought,
okay.
ew, that's not okay. But we still buy fresh bread, that same brand, and eat that. What are you eating?
We still ate it. Yeah.
What are you
Well,
eating?
and also, like, the gluten intolerance. It's so prevalent here, but you go to England, you know, the UK, and
Where they have
what do you mean
heirloom
gluten?
wheats.
What do you mean gluten-free? That's not.
Yeah, they don't have a thing. Because they're doing heirloom wheat.
Yeah.
You know, I order heirloom wheat from Wisconsin to make bread because it is true that even for me,
You got 3 days.
You know, there was a book that we read though. I mean, I read it in medical school. What was that? 30 years ago, called Wheat Belly. It's still out there, and it talks about all of that, about that bioengineering of wheat and how we changed it. It used to be really, really tall. And then they would have to, they'd cut it, they'd stack it up so that it would dry. And now what they've done is they've bioengineered it so that it is shorter because of course when the wheat, when the wind blows it and it falls down, it gets moldy and you can't harvest it anymore. So they've bioengineered it, and then they've done something else with the sheath, and they've done different things to it. And I can
easier to
tell a
process.
difference. Right. I can tell a difference in my tummy, that funny bloating that you get. I would not say that I'm gluten intolerant, and certainly not the same thing as celiac disease, which is totally different. But I can tell a difference when I've eaten too much gluten. So I do like that heirloom
Well, and I think
wheat,
that's why
but-
there's also such a wave for sourdough. Making your own sourdough
Right.
starters and then
right.
making your own
Way
bread.
easier on your tummy. Yeah. So anyway, so
Well, good to know.
good to know,
burgers
because
are burgers.
Burgers are burgers.
And there are really that many cows.
So the end of this, so if people were
Did
people
she
were
have the number? How many cows to people? How many cows per person? You know, like in
Oh, I didn't
New
ask her
Zealand,
that.
there were like 3
Cows
three
per-
sheep per person.
Yeah.
I think it was more than that. It was like
4.
5. Was it 5? 4 or 5? 8.
4 sheep
A whole
per-
lot of
Oh,
sheep.
40. Maybe it was 40.
It was a lot, but you also see a lot of sheep. I feel like I don't see enough cows. But again, we have a quite
Again,
big
I think
country.
a lot of it is because they don't want us to see.
They don't want us to
They're
know where
trying
they
to
are.
protect the
Those
food
people.
source.
I get it.
So that people don't know, oh, wait, there's how many million cattle on this farm? That you mean this is the farm that I can poison to, you know,
yeah.
hurt America?
It makes sense.
You know, so it makes sense why we don't really know where they are, you know.
sense.
And I think there's a whole Midwestern area that nobody knows what's there. That's where the cows are. Wyoming, cows. Oklahoma, cows.
Cows and horns.
It's probably what's in the Dakotas.
Because nobody goes there. But cows like cold, so why not?
I know. So
Interesting. I guess I didn't really even think about it. I just knew what hot dogs were.
I had never
and
thought.
I didn't know what chicken nuggets are.
Well,
But-
and that was the other thing too. So there's one other little tidbit here. So the big thing to know is that it is real meat in your McDonald's burger. So don't worry about that. But here's the other thing that I'm going to say, which might make McDonald's mad, but they're not watching us anyway. It's not good meat. So, so there is, the meat is graded, right? And so, so that's what we're buying in Safeway and Albertsons and our grocery stores, Trader Joe's. We're buying that grade A beef. There are other grades of meat that's not so great that they will sell for far less money. And that's what's happening. That's why they can sell a hamburger for
$100.
I don't know how much it is. How much is a hamburger?
Maybe
Whatever it
$4,
is.
I don't know.
Whatever. It's not $8 a pound and it's not $3 a pound. It's less expensive.
Well,
meat.
it makes sense. I mean, we know
What are
McDonald's is
you going to do with
bargain
that
burgers.
sick? I don't want to say sick cow because I'm sure they can't sell a sick cow, so I'm not saying that. But if there's a cow that
If there's
doesn't look
probably
quite
a
so
cow or a cow that doesn't make weight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like if you ever go to a fair and they go to a show, they will tell you, oh, hey, this one's not for sale because it didn't make weight. You can still show it and get your ribbons because she's pretty and you can handle your animal really well, but you're not going to be able to sell it because it had to make a certain weight to be sold. We get them all the time right after fair. It's like, hey, here are my 3 kids and we unfortunately didn't do this, but they can private sell it all day long because it's still a edible animal. It just didn't make the quota.
And I wonder too if it's I don't know what makes grade A meat versus, because even if you're underweight, wouldn't your meat still be the same as that fat cow? I don't know. And I don't know that I want to know that
I don't really
necessarily. But anyway, the lesser grade, cheaper meat is what they buy. And she said there's even kind of a thing like when they go to those cow sales and people are bidding on cattle, it's like, oh, that's going to be, and they know
It's
kind of
probably
the
breed.
fast food. Maybe.
Probably an Angus breed and a Wagyu breed, whatever that is different from just your average Joe Brown cow.
I don't know.
I mean, I have no idea.
I don't know. And the other thing too, though, that she said, and it was a term that I thought it was like the real term because I loved hearing it, but she called it mush meat.
Mush meat.
And I know what mush meat is. And I said, oh, what was that term you used? She goes, oh, that's just a term I made up. But I understand what mush meat is, right? Because mush meat is hot dogs. Because, of course, we've talked about this many times before. In the 1980s, they made a law, a federal law, that it had to be at least 20% meat.
Gross.
That means what's in that hot dog is all of the scrapings off the floor. So,
Nothing goes to waste.
Nothing goes to waste. So it's all of the tendons, the sinew, all of the weird stuff. They mush it all up together. They add that little sticky stuff that holds it all together, and they make hot dogs.
I still feed my kid hot dogs. Maisie loves
Hot dogs
a
are
good,
so popular.
cheap,
Everybody
99-cent pack of hot dogs. Me, I'm an all beef. Paul's Frank's hot dog.
Okay, but here's the funny thing. So let me finish. So let me tell you this.
I know.
This is what she said. So this mush
Probably
meat.
don't wanna
So
know.
you don't want to know. It's still the same thing. So there's hot dogs. We've already talked about chicken nuggets. It's the same thing. Beef, it's the same thing. So they've got those leftover parts to that cow that nobody's going to eat.
It's still a beef, even though it's beef
still
tendon.
beef.
Still beef.
It came out of that cow. It's still
Not
all
going to
of
waste.
those- It's not going to go to waste. You're not going to eat any hair. You're not going to eat any bone. Probably no hooves.
But you got the rest.
You're going to eat everything else. Everything else is mushed up
Mush meat.
and
I
it's
get it.
mush meat. And that's why does that patty look like that? That patty does not look like a hand-formed hamburger patty because that's not what it is.
Yeah.
And so, so it's A, not the same grade of beef.
Sure,
And
makes sense.
B, it's mush meat. It's got all of the other stuff kind of thrown in there, ground up. And so that's how they can do it at whatever the price of a McDonald's hamburger is.
Sure.
And not just McDonald's. I mean, I think fast food is fast food. You are not paying for quality. You're paying for something that can be served quickly and inexpensively.
You're going to go to a hometown steakhouse if you want someone who's buying 6 cows.
Yeah.
You're going to go to Wendy's.
Hand-formed meat patty.
Yeah. You're going to go to a fast food if you want.
Yeah.
I still want to cook it myself.
Right. So anyway, I just thought it was really, really
I think
interesting.
it's good. I mean, I think
because the fear of what are we eating? And I still do not know the answer of that turkey leg. And maybe
I don't know
it was
any
some
bone
sort
farmers.
of, and the funny thing was that Pa said, it was probably just some weird AI video that she did. No. And the reason I would say that it's not is just because of the way that I described, she was in her kitchen. It was just, you could tell she was just, no, I bought this and I'm trying to make this turkey leg. You could tell she wasn't somebody who was an influencer who had all of these followers and doing something weird or whatever. It was just, she wanted to know what did we think about her turkey leg, and the fact that video is now non-existent.
Weird.
Is weird. to me.
I don't know.
So that's the only true conspiracy is.
She has no answer.
What about the turkey? I need to know a turkey farmer.
Yeah. Maybe not a
Because
chicken farmer. But...
I don't believe that it was 3D printed. I agree with that. There's no way we can afford that. I do not believe that it was bioengineered. We cannot afford that. I've gone down that rabbit hole. That didn't happen. Could it be some sort of weird mush meat that they then made it look like a turkey leg, and they just didn't do a very good job of that because she peeled off that layer?
Oh.
I mean, maybe that kind of makes some sense to me, but it wasn't a, you think of the people that do that a lot. It's like Tyson Foods. That's kind of what they make is all of those chicken nuggets and chicken patties and that kind of thing. So it would make sense if it was some sort of a frozen Tyson thing, but it wasn't. It was fresh. It was in like a, I don't know. I still have questions about that, but I still feel all right. Because again, for us personally, we sort of know where our meat comes from. Yeah. We have a lot of locally sourced options, which is good.
Definitely my generation. I think we are so subject to everything on the internet is real. Why would they lie to me? Why would so many people be on the same path of they're feeding us plastic? And I think it's good to ask questions.
Yeah, it is.
Whether you get the answer you want or you don't, it's still you have done the research, you've fact-checked things and found your own answer. Right. Good or bad.
Right.
But I think it's important because I think we get a little lazy sometimes and just, why would that person lie to me?
Yeah. And I think there are some lessons that we've learned. I mean, we learned about Teflon. That's a whole big thing. Mm-hmm. And we did eat a lot of plastic. We do eat a lot of plastics and BPH and what's the other thing? The BHT and the BHA, the preservatives that we've added. And we know now that, those were probably not good and we shouldn't have added those. And all of the high fructose corn syrup. Mm-hmm. Lord, don't get me started on that. And that's in everything. And that's banned in so many and the dyes. So we've made a lot of mistakes along the way to make things convenient and shelf stable. And, I think Americans in general eat things that other countries do not eat. We know that it's entertaining television, to eat something that's banned in other countries. Like, sorry. We do that.
That's
so it's, but anyway. So if any of the rest of you I'm betting that at least 5 of you guys are going to text me or email me and go, oh my gosh, I was thinking that same thing. That cow thing had me really worried.
I'm just definitely on the movement of, grandma crafting. I mean, there's this thing, we know how to quilt, we know how to make our own clothes, we know how to mend things if we need to, preserving the harvest, whether it's canning, dehydrating, freeze drying now, all of those things I think is important. There's so much I make now instead of buying it. My mayonnaise, I make homemade mayonnaise because I have an abundance of eggs. And so I think it's all of those things that you don't even think about
go
until,
back to
like even the Campbell's thing is like I've already started before Campbell's came out with their statement that I'd already been making my basic dry mixes to create my own. But to think that, I can make it in 5 ingredients and there are 14 on that can.
Right.
So those other 9 things, did I really need those? Probably not.
Right. The things that we've never bought, we don't make we don't buy taco mix, taco seasoning, ranch seasoning, any of those things. We do make our own. We kind of always have done that.
Yeah.
And that's true.
And it tastes so different. And it tastes without that extra cornstarch or all that extra stuff on there. Yeah.
It is.
Well, fun facts.
Yeah. So kind of fun.
Cool.
So kind of fun. And it was just really interesting because it was, interesting how quickly you get nervous about, oh my gosh, that's super, super crazy and believable because I can't tell you, it's a whole thing when you start searching that, then everything on my feed, it just kept coming up again and again and again. All of the people that are saying the same thing is like, oh, they're bioengineering meat. They're not. I feel absolutely certain that they're not bioengineering. I think that, I'm sure they're adding preservatives, and
it makes sense.
Making things shelf stable. That kind of makes some sense to me, but I think they are doing it with, under the auspices of, I think there are, people are checking our meat and checking our food, but anyway, but again, I'm not going to eat fast food beef anyway.
Yeah. We got a whole fridge full.
We gotta do it not taste good to me at all.
No, it's different. It's so different.
Not gonna eat it.
So different.
All right. So, and that's all we know about food. And if you were here for quilting, you left a long time ago. But anyway, it was kind of fun to have Pa also go down the rabbit hole with me. He doesn't often. He indulges me only slightly.
This is probably up his alley, though.
It kind of was. Food? Wait, what?
A cow?
Because he's a smart guy. He is not easily misled.
No.
By my frantics. It's like, okay, whatever.
He's very black and white.
But this one too is like, well, yeah, that doesn't, those numbers, that doesn't, because if you think about those numbers, it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense because you don't see it. And you don't see it because you're not supposed to see it. So all of that, I don't know. I feel okay about it, but we'll see how many other people now are worried. But
sorry.
I know, sorry. But my brain will be going some other spot. But in the world of quilting, what's kind of fun is we started yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday we started our 12 days of Christmas.
We were a day late because we didn't look at a calendar. And we just assumed the first started on a Tuesday.
I know.
Because why wouldn't it?
I know, right? Because that's what we said.
So we're still doing 12 days. It just started on the 2nd.
12 days, and we're going to end. I think we ended on like the 16th because we're not doing it on Sundays.
Yeah, we're skipping Sundays. You just have...
Or something. We don't know. Don't quote us.
You just have Sunday box openings and then...
And so what we're doing is we're just showing you some fun project, some fun idea, and then we have something on sale for you, and just something kind of fun, just to hang out a little bit,
and
do something kind of cool.
Going to air at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock?
In the afternoon, Pacific time.
Yeah.
Just because it makes it easier for everybody, depending on what side of the country you're on. And also, it doesn't interfere with our box openings, of course. You'll have some time for that. Right. So, like, on the Wednesday, 12 days of Christmas, whatever that day is, that lands on there, plus box opening, we'll try to combine orders for you. Because, of course, we won't print off orders until Thursday morning. So, we'll see whatever. Yeah. So, we'll try to combine those as you go through.
If there's something that you buy, we'll put it in there, and we just refund. Those. Yeah, totally watches, and we'll refund your shipping, any excess shipping. So we got you. We're a small enough operation that we can take care of that for you.
Yeah, pretty fun.
See that. All right, and let's see the quote behind us.
Oh yes.
We suggest we might not tell you, but we're going to tell you. It's just flower boxes. Just super simple.
4 sizes.
Yeah. Just 3 fabrics, just something that you want to show off. And then there is kind of a box and then another piece. So
this fabric was poinsettias from Robin Pickens probably 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to find the fabric.
But if it's in your pantry, maybe it will inspire you to whip it out.
Or if you have something else, anything you want to show
something
off.
Pretty. Doesn't even have to be Christmas. But yeah, it's 4 different sizes. So the last one is either even using 10-inch squares, or Mom wrote in there if you want to use a panel piece. If you have a block panel that you want to cut up and put in there. So yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one. All right. Anything else? Let's see.
Let's
see. What's going on? So tonight you'll see us again at 3 and at 5. Tomorrow, Friday.
I'm very tired. I don't know.
We're sewing. We're sewing every night.
Yeah, I am. After the kids go to bed.
Wait till you see some of the stuff.
I think it's a good little mashup.
Yeah, we have some fun things. Yes, we have some classics that we kind of always like to feature. Something kind of fun, but I mean, and by classics, I mean classic techniques. Yeah. Everything that you'll see will be new this year, but there's some classic techniques that we just kind of like. So anyway.
So you'll see at 3 o'clock today, you'll see day 2 of our 12 Days of Christmas, and then you'll see us again at 5 o'clock for
box opening.
Box opening.
Yeah. All right. Okay, I guess that's it. And we've probably talked for 2 hours. We have no concept of time.
No, sorry.
But tonight we'll talk about all new conspiracy. No.
All new fabric.
Yes. Be fabric related.
With our other friends who don't join us here.
That's right. All right. Thanks, you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching our video. We invite you to leave a comment, hit the like button, or better yet, subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. You can also visit our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Pinterest pages, or find all of those things and our online store at fabricpatch.net.